1942 for the hurt, huh? S-man got left by the curb, huh? He the worst, huh? So bad, probably can't find the words, huh? I'm amazed by the way, what's yours, huh? Where's that from? My day real right with that one. Is this your last one? Can I buy you a drink for real? I think we could be a thing for real. See your vibe from like a mile away. You the type to dance a night away. Show me how you get down, where you from? Where you from? We don't got what you got in the city. Round here, they don't make them this pretty. Girl, rock your body. You ain't gotta turn down for no one. Rock that body. Throw your hands in the air if you own one. Rock that body. Little fast like girl, the slow one. Rock your body. Come on, rock that body. Say rock your body. You ain't gotta turn down for no one. Rock your body. Yeah, throw your hands in the air if you own one. Rock that body. Yeah, little fast like girl, not the slow one. Rock your body. Come on, rock your body. I don't think that I've seen you before, but I think we should stop being strangers. What you doing tomorrow on 4? Think your schedule might need rearranging. What you do, you model, that's major. I'm an artist like rapper, not painter. Yeah, I know, girl, this rap dangerous. So it's living, so who really blame us? And I got a friend for your friend, and he ball at me too, so let's make it a deal, okay? And I can't believe that you single, girl, looking like that, man, you really is still okay. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel, okay? But this drink, I be keeping it real, okay? Girl, rock your body. You ain't gotta turn down for no one. Rock that body. Throw your hands in the air if you own one. Rock that body. Little fast like girl, the slow one. Rock your body. Come on, rock that body. Say rock your body. You ain't gotta turn down for no one. Rock your body. Yeah, throw your hands in the air if you own one. Rock that body. Yeah, little fast like girl, not the slow one. Rock your body. Come on, rock your body.
Rock your body. Rock your body.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there on this January 22nd, 2025, episode 149? Obviously, Dave isn't here. I've decided David hates the show. I think David hates the show. That's what I'm gonna claim. He's gonna hear this and he's gonna get mad at me. But I'm sure David hates the show. That's what I'm running with. But overall, we appreciate everyone for being here, whether you're watching on X, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Kick. We appreciate you all. Wherever you're watching from, make sure you're giving a follow, a share, a repost, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Spreading word of mouth. This is the greatest show you've ever heard in your life. So we're going to jump into the fun stuff right away. Last week, we had on Mike Marshall, a coordinator for early vote action. It was a great conversation, spirited. We got into, minor disagreements here, agreed on a lot of stuff. It was a really good time. But I want to jump into the show right away for this week, because this week we're switching it up a little. We're bringing on a musical artist that for the first time we're not like close friends with. Like, we had on Hack No Cap a few times. Obviously, he's one of David's best friends and a little brother to me. We had on LA Meek, again, a person that grew up around us and one of David's best friends. But today we're having somebody on who is, friends with friends in the periphery, but he's legit. And if anyone liked the intro song there, Rock Your Body, it is from this gentleman. So let's bring him in. It is Mayce. What's going on, brother?
My guy, what's the word?
Nothing, man. Just hanging out. So pumped to have you on. For anyone that needs to know, Mayce is a rapper and producer based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But honestly, I'm finding out that you're kind of a globetrotter.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of split. I'm originally from Pittsburgh. I live in LA now, but I work out of Miami a lot. Spent some time in New York City, so I work there a lot too. I'm wherever the work is.
So you got smart though, because you're like, okay, I grew up in PA. PA's cold. Okay, let me go to LA and let's do LA and Miami. Let me make those my other two hubs so I could
Yeah.
be a snowbird before I reach retirement age. Like that's smart.
It's like so funny now though, because like I like live in LA and I spend so much time in Miami. Like I don't own a coat right now. And so every time I go back to Pittsburgh, I'm like in shambles because it'll be 12 degrees when I get off the plane.
So I never thought of this. You're in LA, you're in Miami. Do they have places to buy coats? Like, is it like hard to find a place to buy like a winter coat?
I don't even know because I don't spend enough time in Pittsburgh to warrant buying one. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather be miserable for a week than figure out how to buy this coat. Now I got to get it back to LA. You know what I mean? Like,
You're better off going there and like finding like a family member or like a friend and
yeah,
be like, we're same size. Give me your North Face.
yeah,
Like, you still remember what the brands are, right? You lived in
yeah.
So I'm excited to have you on. For anyone that wants to go and find Mace's music, you can go search on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, YouTube. Just go anywhere, search for Mace. You'll see him there.
Mhm.
And also, if you want to go search him on social media, I'm going to throw it right up right here at Mace Tomlin on X, at Mace Tomlin on Instagram, and anywhere else. That's basically how you'll find him. Just go Mace Tomlin. Mace is spelled Mayce, which not to be confused with the rapper Mase, Mace. So, but I like it. I like the change. It's cool.
Mhm.
So I want to jump right in with you because like I said, it's fun to talk to a musician that like I'm not close with, right? Like we've had a few on here that, best friends. But you, like I said, you're a good friend of LA Meek that, I'm not shy to say that's how we got connected. And I hope Meek is watching right now. If not, we're gonna fight.
My
But,
guy.
but I want to jump right in because what made you want to jump into, making music, producing music and things like that?
Yeah, I've always loved music. It's like a running joke in our family that like I could always pick up random instruments and play. I played harmonica for a minute. I played drums. I don't play anymore, but like playing has actually helped me in my producing because I understand how to like program live drums to make them feel like somebody actually played them.
Yeah.
And then like piano, guitar, like I kind of just used to dabble here and there. And then eventually I feel like how everybody gets into stuff these days, you like end up in a YouTube rabbit hole.
Oh
And I
yeah.
just found people producing and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, especially because I was already kind of into music. And so I started making beats. And
When
then
was the first time you got FL Studio? Because that's like everyone's like gateway drug into
I
production.
started
It's like FL
GarageBand. I
Studio.
went GarageBand first.
Okay. Okay.
Then I realized I hated GarageBand. So I went FL Studio, which has actually kind of ruined it because anytime I see anybody open Logic, I'm like, because it's like GarageBand PTSD. Um, but no, so I started producing or making beats. I wasn't like producing for people yet.
Yeah.
And I just had a bunch of beats and I was like, oh, might as well rap. So I bought like a little $25 mic and
Might
started
as
there.
well rap. Like anyone could just do that. Like we can all try, but it's like most of
Mhm.
us sit there and it's like we sound like B-Rad G from Malibu's
Oh no,
Most
it was terrible. Don't act, it took a long time to get to where I'm at now. I was 14 then. I just turned 23 last week. So I'm almost a
So it's been
decade
a
in at
minute.
this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you always wanted to do it. When did you start to get more serious about it? When was it something like, because you went to Columbia, you played ball at Columbia and stuff like that. Ivy League,
Yeah.
educated and everything like that. And what from there made you go, I want to take this leap and I want to sit there and try to make this a career?
Yeah. So I was actually in high school when I decided. Originally my young childhood dream was to play in the NBA. I'm 5'9", so
Welcome to the club. I'm 5'8".
yeah,
I'd say I'm 5'9". I'm
yeah.
5'8".
So things happen, you know what I mean? But I was in high school and I was making a little bit better beats. Kind of got connected a little bit in Pittsburgh, and I was like, I think I could actually do this. So
What's
I
the
was
scene like
probably
in Pittsburgh? Is there a decent hip hop scene? 'Cause I know a lot of cities have scenes.
yeah.
What's the scene like in the Berg?
I have love for it in my heart because I am from there, and I
Yeah.
feel like as of late I've been like kind of a bigger part of it. Um, it's just it's not as mainstream in terms of like mainstream names. You have
Yeah,
Wiz,
yeah.
you have Mac, but other than that, it's kind of even in terms of like it's all kind of underground.
where would the Pittsburgh style fall into? Would it fall into that kind of Midwest type of like, because you have like, obviously you have like the Detroit scene with D12,
Mhm.
Eminem and everyone like
Yeah.
that. You have the Kansas City group with Tech and Strange Music. Like, where would the Pittsburgh scene, would it be somewhere? Cause it's similar in location, right around like
Yeah.
in
I would
that
I
kind of
would
area.
argue it's a little more Midwestern.
Okay.
There are Eastern, like we do get a little bit of New York, a little bit of the New York bounce or whatever, but a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
it, I would feel like, at least from the rap perspective, I don't know too much about the other stuff going on just because I don't participate in it. But
Yeah.
I would say from a rap perspective, I would say we're probably most similar to Detroit at
Gotcha.
this
That's
moment
cool.
in time.
That's what I like to hear though, because I love Midwest rap. That's my
Mhm.
I grew up in the Northeast. I love New York rap. Like obviously, like your Jada, your Fab, your 50,
Mhm.
all that group. Like they're some of the best to me. But like as I've gravitated more, there's a reason why M is sitting on top, right? There's a
Yeah.
reason why so many people I love strange music, like Says Crew and stuff like that, Tech, that whole group, Chris Calico. Something about the skill of being able to spit. Like
Yeah.
there's spitting there, but there's also an element of hip hop. It's not just pure rap.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
that's what I love about the
I would
Midwest
argue
style.
that Pittsburgh, we're like a real rap city. Like there's not, other than me, like there's a few here and there, but there's not a lot of melodic stuff going on. Like
Okay.
these people are rapping. So you have to give them their credit.
That's good. That's why I like to hear it. Because listen, there's too many people that don't rap now, right? Like one thing I like, I listen to some of your music, like you definitely fall into a little bit more of the new style in terms of melody, but
Mhm.
in terms of spitting, like you're not lazy, right? Like there's a lot of people, and I'm not going to be like, I don't want to be mean and stuff. I don't know who you're friends with, but I'm not going to call anyone out. But there's some artists in the mainstream that it just sounds like, they're doing like a little rhythm, like the few words and then pause. And it's like, there is a place for that, right? It's a
Mhm.
style, but I hate to hear it every song, every verse. Like it's like, switch it up. The greatest rappers switch it up.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel that as a lover of music and as a music listener myself. Like I try to take a little bit of that, like because there are times where it's like, I don't want to be in the club, try to have a good time and be like, what is this guy really saying though? You know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
balance it where it's like I can listen to this in the club because it sounds good, but also I can listen to this in my car because I'm saying something, or I can listen to this when I'm cooking or cleaning. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You got to kind of find a middle ground. And I think the best artists on the planet are really good at that.
Well, yeah, because you hear like obviously you have like 50 Cent. No one's gonna say he's not a real rapper, but you play his music in the club. Like it's
Mhm.
there. But then you have like your Flow Rider, who is quite literally just a club rapper. And there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, right? Like he knows his place. And I've heard Flow early on. Flow used to do legit stuff. And then he's
Mhm.
like, let's just find like a niche. So jump in, Nate, coming over here making fun of the Philadelphia mayor,
ELG.
ELGSES. Did you see that? How are you the mayor of a city and you cannot spell Eagles? Like,
ELG. She was close. She had the letters right. They just weren't.
well, she missed the A. She left the
She
A
missed
out.
it. A. She missed it. A. She was close though. Like there were no letters there that weren't supposed to be there. So I give her that. It was cold. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it.
I'm sorry, it's Eagles. I'm
Yeah.
not giving you a pass. Like, listen, if she was trying to spell like Seahawks and there's a chant for it and you got to spell Seahawks, I could mess that up. It's a lot of
Yeah.
letters. Eagles, I don't know. I'm not giving them pass.
Moment too big for her.
Nate also coming in, Froggy Fresh, Undisputed King. Yes. All right. So I want to jump back into you because now you're in the game. You're
Mhm.
rapping. I saw something really cool I want to ask you about before we get in there.
Okay.
You perform with Brett Michaels? What was that? Like, that is a crossover. So how did that come about? What was that like? That looks sick.
Yeah, no, we have a mutual friend. And so I got connected with him in Los Angeles. And originally it was just supposed to be like, because he's from out Pittsburgh way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So originally it was supposed to just be like, here's this kid, like he's trying to do what you do. If you have any opinions or advice for him, like, and Brett he's a super, like, I don't have the words to describe how cool of a person Brett is. Like, he was like, here, take my number. Like, any questions you have, you want advice on the industry, a song, whatever, text me, call me, like, I'll answer. It's cool.
That's
I'm like,
really
cool.
cool.
Like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't I take that play? So I was all excited about that. I was just like, just another friend to have. And then, we left, went our separate ways, and probably an hour later, he called me. He was like, I'm performing in Pittsburgh. You want to open? And at this point, he hadn't heard any of my music or anything. And I was like, You sure? Like he was
And at
like,
this
yeah,
point, how often have you performed in front of an audience? Has it
yeah.
been
So
a frequent thing or?
I'm not a rookie to it.
Okay.
Nothing like that
Yeah,
because
because I
he was
saw the picture. If you look at the background for the art that I made, that's
mhm,
you standing there in that
yeah.
that audience. I
So
robbed you of that. Sorry.
those shows are wild. So I had done shows before. I performed at Columbia, like our little festival thing,
Yeah.
open there. That was a decent sized crowd. Um, I had done shows before, but I mean, we talking thousands of people. Like you can't even see the people in the back.
So what was that like walking up there? Like, is it kind of tough to get going and then the energy
No,
carries you? Like, what was that moment like? And then once your music started to hit and you had to start going, what was
yeah,
all that like?
I always tell people like surprisingly the bigger crowds are easier because you can only with the lights and the sound going and stuff. It really kind of feels like you're alone because you can only really see the front like 2 rows, and you have to
Yeah,
be, like, looking. If you decide not to look at the front 2 rows, it feels like you're up there by yourself.
that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, I would argue, like I always tell people, like, those are actually the easiest. It it's not until you get off the stage or you're, like, before you go on and you're kinda looking out the side, like, "Man, there's a lot of people out there." Um, but it's a really cool experience. I would just say that, like, it is easier, and also too, like, because the sound like in those big amphitheaters and stuff, the speakers that are kicking back are so loud that like unless the crowd is like having a riot, you can't even hear them.
That's pretty that you know what though, that's something like obviously like I don't get that viewpoint, right? Because I'm
Mhm.
never gonna be in front of a crowd like that. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
behind a mic in my little office right here talking to people randomly on the internet.
Mhm.
But that's like a really cool perspective that I don't think a lot of big artists say. You know,
Mhm.
like, oh, it's easier. Like they talk about the, the energy. Could you feel some energy coming off though when you were like done with the song and they were feeling you like when that
Oh yeah.
moment stopped, when the music went away? Like, was
Mhm.
that amping you up a little more as you were
Yeah,
hearing
for
them?
sure. And then we did a show in Jersey in Humdale, New Jersey too.
Oh, hey,
And
that's right near my home.
okay, yeah, and we felt it there. Like when I was on stage,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was like the one time I was like, "Whoa!" Like
That's
I don't
sick.
remember how many people were there, but it you felt it.
Jersey likes our hip hop, okay? We
Yeah.
like our hip hop. So,
That was
Nachi has a question for you. Did you have to get familiar with Rock of Love hanging out with Bret Michaels?
No, I still haven't seen it. I've heard. I it's funny to me, like, because I know him in real life to imagine him on, like, a reality TV show. Um, I am going to watch it at some point. I've been so busy that I haven't gotten around to
You
it, but
should
I'm
watch it and, like,
aware.
text him play-by-plays of
Yeah.
your opinion.
I should call him and make him watch it with me.
Oh my, he probably would, because he probably laugh and be like, "This is what was going on
Yeah.
here," and he'll probably tell you, like, the behind the scenes stuff that was
Mhm.
going on where they were like, "Alright, but we cut out about 10 minutes of this happening," and because, reality TV is anything but reality, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's pretty crazy. So,
that's funny.
you're into your music career, you're making music, you're producing music, you're out in LA now. Obviously, you work out of Miami, LA, you're producing for others professionally, right? What is that like having to go from kind of the different styles? Like, are you producing to what they want, or are they coming to you to get what you do? Like, how does that kind of work, or is it a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both because, like, I look at it from a fact, like, as an artist, you have to always be evolving. If you're making the same song, like I have a hit and I make the same song and the same song, like by the fourth or fifth time, people are like, "What else can you do?" You know what I mean? So when you're working with artists as a producer, you have to think that like that. Like you want to make something that you know will resonate with them, like kind of in their style, but then you want to make it yours in a way that their audience will still go, "This is different."
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean? And
you
then
gotta
you
kind
also
of have like your signature, right?
yeah,
As a
and then you
producer,
also
like
have to
every producer has their signature.
uh-huh. And then you have to think about it too, like, as an artist, they hear so much stuff that sounds like them from
Yeah.
other producers where I'm like, I'm producing for this artist, so I'm gonna play them beats that sound like the stuff they've made. So they hear thousands of beats that sound like everything they've made.
Yep.
What can you provide them differently that will make them so, "Oh, play that one again." You know what I mean?
Yeah, so how do you kind of rock that fine line, right? Because fans can be fickle. Like I know, especially like with me, I love a lot of rock music. And what's
Mhm,
the worst thing? I think rock gets us the worst. Well, they sold out. They made some money and they sold out because their sound changed up a little bit. And it's
mhm,
like What is that fine line? 'Cause I know rappers go through that too, and hip hop goes through that too, where I think Kid Cudi experienced that, and like
Mhm.
he kind of, and even Bob B.O.B. he
Yeah.
experienced that heavy with his other stuff because Adventures of Bobby Ray was very different from his stuff afterwards.
Mhm.
So where is that fine line, and are you really working with the artists in that process if they want to change up, like how to get fans to sit there and realize, like, no, I'm still me, but
Mhm.
I'm just doing a little bit of different stuff right now.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you're in the room with people. In 2025, like you don't have to be just because the internet, like you can. It's easy. Sometimes it's as easy as DMing somebody like, "Yo, I rock with your music. Like, let me send you some beats,"
Yeah,
and you can land something like that. It's a little harder that way,
yeah.
but it's possible. So I think like number one is being in the room with them. You know what I mean? So then you can take risk and get real live feedback where it's like, no, yes, I feel like that's probably the easiest way. But also, when I make stuff for people, usually, like if I'm just sending, I try not to think about certain people when I make stuff and just make what I think I
Yeah.
like. And then afterwards be like, I could hear this person on this, even if it's a little different.
Have you ever found that you've like worked with someone online first, and then after working with them online, they like what you did, you like what they did, that you try to figure out a way to get to Miami or LA and then work together in person?
Mhm. Yeah, that happens. That actually happens a lot where I'll meet people on the internet first. And kind of just, like I have a friend that I've been working with in Pittsburgh a lot recently, Sticks. I'll shout him out. Like I just kind of ran into him on the internet. We had like similar circles, but we had followed each other on the internet for a while. And then I finally like ran into him in person and we had already like known who each other were. So it wasn't, we were just like, oh, we got to get in the studio. And it eventually happened. And now I've been in the studio with him like 4 times in the past month.
It seems like the greatest dating app ever. Like if you're a single
Yeah.
dude, you want to go like
You
start
can go
making beats
anywhere
for
in the world.
girls, and there you go, you'll meet people.
Yeah, you can go anywhere in the world with Instagram, honestly, like,
It's
as
crazy.
long as you have as long as you're yourself on there and you have a brand of s I don't like to say that because then it feels like fake, but as long as you have, like, a personality, quote, unquote, like, you're fine,
But
you can pick
it
one.
is in like brand has gotten such a dirty like connotation, right? Like your brand isn't who you are, but it's like in reality, it's exactly what we are. Like, people see my little logo and hopefully they affiliate it with me, like my little arrows. And the purpose is when you come into the Alex Cuesta show, you're going to be getting a music artist, you're going to be getting politics, you're going to be getting sports. Like we do everything here. And, so your brand is who you are. And like you can make it a good or a bad thing, right? Like,
Yeah,
you can make it like, okay, I'm Mayce and I'm me wherever I go, or I'm Mayce and I'm me on camera. And I think like if you're just that person on camera, then you're gonna fail at some point, right? Because
mhm,
people see through it eventually.
yeah,
And you can almost tell. You could tell when someone's acting and when they're not.
mhm. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, and I try to make the, like, Mace brand, like, as close to, like, me in real life as possible. Obviously, like, you have to kinda hit a switch when you're on stage,
Of
like,
course.
I'm a lot I'm a lot different on stage than I am in real life.
Well,
Uh,
you're performing, right?
yeah.
Performing is a reason why you're doing a performance. There is difference there.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely like a line you have to walk in terms of like, you want to be personal because
Mhm.
then it feels like a real thing, but then not like too personal. So like you can still separate work from home. It's like it's kind of tough.
What's crazy is like in the internet era, like I'm older than you, obviously. Back in the day, my day, you didn't know what people were like unless they like let their guard down in an interview.
Mhm.
Like these celebrities, these artists, and like, but now there's a difference where people might be a fan of you. They might have seen you at the Brett Michael show over in Homedale, and they were like, "Oh, I like that dude." And now they sit down and they hear you just kicking it here, and it's like, "Oh, he's a real person." Like he's not just that guy on stage, and it's so much easier to get access to that. And I feel like it can go both ways, right? I feel like at times they like stage you and then they won't like interview you and it might turn them off. Or
It
it
could
was
be
like
the other way around.
oh, he was all right on stage, and then they hear you talking and like, no, but he's real. I'm going to support him. And
Mm.
so I feel like we're in such a weird time right now, but a great time
Yeah.
because I feel like that also helps sometimes. It breaks down the facades a lot quicker.
Hmm. For sure.
So you're doing your thing. You're now doing it for how many years? You got done with school. When did you get done with school?
I graduated last May, so I've been out for I don't know, was it like 6 months or so?
So you've been obviously wanting to do music for a while, but you're kind of jumping in. You've been making music for a long
Mhm.
time. What have you learned since you started messing with beats, started making music? up to where you are now?
I mean, a lot in terms of like the music or in terms of like the business.
Yes. We can
Okay.
go both.
I think the music part, I've learned a lot in terms of what works. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like you listen to like I listen to really weird music. Like I listen like right now I'm on like a Midwest emo kick. That's like been
There's
my
nothing
thing.
wrong with that. Hawthorne Heights, you got Hawthorne Heights going?
No, I let me lock in. Let me lock in.
Hawthorne Heights is like that's like you're talking emo Midwest. They made a song Ohio is for Lovers. It's their biggest song.
Yes, that's what I've been on lately, and I feel like there's a lot of like really cool weird stuff, but it doesn't really go mainstream. And
Yeah.
so you have to find ways to like make your weird, but also dumb it down a little bit to make it, you know what I mean? Like to use an analogy, like you can only get so far from making mac and cheese until it's not mac and cheese anymore. You know what I mean? Like you have
Yeah.
to make your brand of mac and cheese, but it still has to be recognizable as mac and cheese for people to be like, I like mac and cheese. Let me try this.
Yeah. I
So
think that's a really good analogy.
yeah, so that's kind of what I've learned and what I'm working a lot on now is kind of like, not, I don't want to say commercializing it, but you have to dial in your sound. From the business perspective, I would say I've learned that the networking politics aspect of it is probably 80% of the work. Like there's people always complain now on the internet that like there's industry plants or like people that aren't very talented, or in their opinion aren't very talented, like blow up out of nowhere. And really it's because they're good at the 80%. Like the
And
eight
also, I'll correct the younger generation. That's been going on forever, everybody. We
forever.
just didn't know about it
You
as
just
much.
see it
Now
now
it's
because
more
the internet.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because like I always tell people like the networking politics gets you there, but your talent keeps you there.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I would say that like there's a lot of people that get on because they know the right people and they make the right moves, but then at some point you either have it or you don't. You know, your first album hits, your second album flops, you're out the door.
Yeah.
Somebody else just made a better album than you and you're gone.
It's so hard. The longevity stuff, like that's why I give so many people credit. I
Mhm.
got to jump into some of these comments. Nate G,
Oh, sure.
he's our resident homie. Nate G coming in. Totally forgot to give props to
Like,
Tech
nice.
Nine, Midwest soundtrack to every high school party I was at. Nate G
Shout out
saying
Tech
plus his
Nine.
spot with falling in reverse. Did you see that? That he did it. He dropped a roll. Do you know who Falling in Reverse is?
Yes, but
So
I'm
they're
not
like a
familiar. But I know the
metal
name.
band. Ronnie Rackey's the lead singer. He made a song Ronald. It's with him and Alex Terrible, who's another fantastic metal scream singer. And Tech Nine in the middle, they just drop a beat and Tech does his traditional rap. And
Tech
then it goes back to just being metal. It was amazing. If you have a chance, go listen to Falling in Reverse, Ronald.
Let
It
me write
was
that
so
down.
good. Oh my God. It was really good. And just like it's like metal, like typical Falling in Reverse, a beat with Tech, dropping his stuff, and then back to metal. It was so well done.
My guy Tech Nine. That's a
Oh, he's
crazy
so
cool.
good. And then Nate G coming in saying he saw Hawthorne Heights on last Warp Tour. They fucking killed it. They always do. I've seen them before. And then Nate coming in saying, got to turn them on to From First to Last. Have you ever heard of them?
No, let me
So
write
here's the
this
thing.
down. Let me write
You've
this
heard,
down.
here's why you've heard of From First to Last. The lead singer of From First to Last is now Skrillex.
Oh,
That was
that's
his band,
wild.
and he was a screamo band. And Note to Self is one of my favorite songs from First to Last. They were really good. You'll like them as well. But yeah, no, he left doing screamo to go become Skrillex. So
Skrillex. That's
arguably a
crazy.
good choice because Skrillex is massive.
Yeah,
But so
can't complain about that.
so you're coming into finding, out about the business and things like that. And obviously, it's like every other business though, right? It's who you know. It's who you know. And then when you get to where you get to because of who you know, then it becomes what you know, right?
Mm.
Like you got to shake some hands in order to get into certain places. Now, also from a financial place, if you don't know how to do finances, you can make it big. But how many times have we heard this person here is doing well, but now they're asking for money? Like, I don't want to put him on blast, but there was just a thing with Cam Newton. Cam
Mhm.
Newton just said, like, he was so used to getting, and I, so used to getting all these game checks, living a certain way. And I think he has like 6 or 7 kids. And now he's trying to figure out with these game checks not coming in. Okay, what do I do? Like it's a different world out there when you're not making, this guaranteed money. And that's why we see a lot of athletes like transition into doing a lot of studio stuff and things like that, or car dealerships are massive. Like,
Yeah.
but so with you in your situation where you're trying to get big, you did finances at Columbia, right? Wasn't that part of your major, econ?
Yes, I was a financial economics major.
So how do
It's
you
a
feel
lot of
that that's going to help you in terms of as you grow and what you do?
Yeah, I wanted that background. So it's like kind of the way my degree was, it's kind of like a pathway into like investment banking kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to have that background so I don't necessarily like have to actually like run my finances, but like
Yep.
I want to be able to, when I make this money from music, take it, invest it, or have somebody else invest it in a more professional environment, but me still have the knowledge and the background to be like, okay, like they're
To
doing the
look
right.
over his shoulder.
Yeah.
To be
So
like, wait a minute, why did you go to that stock? I've been looking at that one. Please don't put my money in that one. That ain't doing good.
as opposed to just putting full trust into people, like
Yeah.
having the ability to look at it and know like, okay, this is the direction I want to go, or I like this, keep doing this.
Would
Yeah.
you ever consider giving like financial guidance, not necessarily being the financial guy, but giving
Mm.
financial guidance to your friends that make it and stuff like that? To like if they ask for it, right? Like,
Yeah, I like, if I got it, if I have the information, I'll share it, but I'm not like the greatest. Like there's a reason I make music and don't do this full time.
but the thing is with that, and it's like always funny, it's like because you say you're not the greatest, but we could both look at the same thing about like an economic outlook, and
Mhm.
you're gonna have a completely probably different opinion because you know what you're looking at. I'm just reading it and hoping, right? Like you
Yeah.
at least have a concept.
Yeah. So it definitely has been helpful. Like there have been multiple times in the past 6 months where I'm like, oh, like I just used my degree.
Yeah.
Which is something
That's nice.
you hope you can say. So yeah, I really have no complaints. But I'm gonna still do this music thing.
I'm giving you a mission. Just make sure Meek doesn't become poor. Okay. Just watch out for
I
Meek.
got him.
Make sure he doesn't do it. No, he knows I love him.
I
So so does it give you any sort of a different angle though because of coming at it sometimes when it comes to where to spend your money, how to spend your money, when to put it away, what to spend it on? um have you have a little bit of a different angle, and have you seen yourself moving a little differently than your peers in terms of that way, in terms of you guys all trying to be on the come up?
In terms of music, like not really. The music industry is really weird in terms of like where money comes from and how much you get and like the percentages and all. Like that's like almost like a separate dark art that you have to
Gotcha.
understand. In terms of just like my day to day, I would say that it kind of. I don't know that it affects the way I live, but I'm definitely more aware
Yeah.
of what's going on. But I've just been so focused on the music and stuff lately that like I'm not really like as deep into investing as I have been in the past and stuff like that. So
It makes sense. You're going after your passion. And then once you settle in and you start to make your money, then you're
yeah,
going to dip back in so you can make sure that you keep your money.
yeah. It's just like it drives me crazy to be like watching it because you like can't watch it. You just have to
I
trust
mean, it is crazy, right? Like you have to like pick a few things. And
it.
then if you look at it every day, you'll go nuts. You got to be like
Yeah.
set like something like once a week or once every 2
Mhm.
weeks. Cause then that's when you really see the movement of what you're doing. If you're looking at stocks or anything economic, like unless you're a day trader, don't look at it every day.
Yeah.
Cause like the day
It'll
traders,
drive
they
me
know what they're
crazy.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it will drive you crazy. I'm terrible at stocks. Like I should be more into it. And like I have some money into the stock market, but then at the same time, I'm just like, oh, I forgot I had money in that. Let me see if it made something. Like
Mhm.
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
So it's a little topsy
There are
turvy.
definitely safer and more reliable options in terms of investing your money than the stock market if you're not one of
100%.
those people.
Yes. And you'll have people that say Bitcoin. Are you up on crypto at all?
I maybe I need to because my homies down here keep telling me to get into the crypto.
Start being paid only in pieces of Bitcoin. I promise you, if you start demanding Bitcoin from people, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Get paid in Bitcoin. Honestly, if I was in your position, or I'd be like half Bitcoin,
Yeah.
half real money to get paid. Yeah, look, Nate's gonna chime in after that comment. Watch, Nate's gonna chime in
We're
a little
taking
bit and be like,
deposits
because he
in
likes
Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
from here on out.
He likes Bitcoin. Pay a little bit in Bitcoin and half Bitcoin, half cash.
That's funny.
Let's see. He says have had good luck following insiders on the shorter term trade. Finviz, if you like that stuff, Alex. Here's the thing too. I'm kind of a bitch. Like I could see this stuff and I can like follow a trend. but then it's like time to pull the trigger and throw my money in there, and I'm like, I like my money. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It gets tough there. But
Mm.
all right, so I want to jump in because you've developed another hobby of something. You like watching movies, I take it. Do you like movies and things like that?
Yeah, so this has been like within the last like 3-4 months. I've been
Yeah.
heavy into movies. I got on Letterboxd. I have a friend that put me on a Letterboxd, and I just like that's all I do lately is like read Letterbox reviews or like
That's awesome.
I honestly like I read more Letterbox reviews than I actually watch movies. Like
So so when you're watching a movie now though, are you like watching it with more of a critical eye since you've been doing a bunch of reading a bunch of letterbox
a
and stuff
little
like
bit.
that?
I'm kind of a movie pessimist to begin with. Like, if there's something that's BS in a movie, I'm gonna be like, that's BS. Like, I'm gonna be the first person to tell you that's BS.
Are you able to dispel belief if it's like a certain genre of certain
For sure.
movie and like it is like fanatical? Like
Yeah.
it drives me crazy when like I'm watching like a science fiction thing and someone's like, "Well, that wouldn't work." I'm like, "Number one, they're in space. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
none of this works actually." Like
yeah. No, yeah, definitely genre based. Like, if it's supposed to be stupid, like I'll accept stupidity. But like there's am I allowed to name drop certain movies? Because I have one
you can do whatever the hell you want.
okay. I recently watched the Godzilla Kong, like the most recent one. I don't even remember
Okay.
what it was called.
I
And
didn't
I
watch
was
that
like,
one. Yeah, yeah.
I took issue with that movie because you're right, like it's BS. The entire thing is BS, but it takes itself so seriously that I'm like, I don't know whether or not I'm supposed to call BS. Like at one point in the movie, like spoiler, I don't care. Like the movie's
Yeah, it's
terrible.
been out for years now.
It's terrible anyway. I don't care. Like Godzilla does like a John Cena suplex on on King Kong, and I'm like,
T for timeout though. Have you ever seen the old Godzillas?
I've seen the Madison Square Garden one.
No, 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 no. The old school Japanese terrible dubbed Godzillas.
But
Part of God.
that's a no. I'm not gonna allow that to slide
Here's the
because
reason.
that
Part of his shtick is that type of stuff. Like at one point, he starts doing the Muhammad Ali to another monster. So
yeah
it is kind of like the thing that Godzilla takes these pop culture things. They've always done it, like,
yeah.
and they do these things. Like it was ridiculous. Like he did like the leg kicks and everything. Like so, I can believe them throwing that in as kind of an
It's just like,
homage to
come
the
on.
old school.
Yeah, I don't know. That movie's terrible. The sense of scale is all jacked up throughout the entire movie. Like it's awful. Like
Well,
it's stuff like that bothers me.
Godzilla not wiping the floor with Kong in the first 5 minutes is the first problem
Yeah,
to me.
I'm like
Godzilla's king of the monsters.
Godzilla can stand up in the ocean, but then also can somehow fit in the Coliseum to sleep. It like doesn't make sense to me.
Have you ever seen that meme of Godzilla, like his legs being able to extend and shrink, and
Yeah.
like his body, like, it's just like so long to the bottom of the ocean, and then it like shrivels up again?
Yeah,
Like
like,
it really, like you do have to dispel belief. Like, and there's like some like Godzilla purists that are like he can expand and contract his size at will. It's like you're getting too deep, man.
yeah,
Like
it's
they
not
just
that
want to
good.
make a cool looking thing. That's all it was.
Yeah. Like I'm fine with it because again, it is part of like the genre, I
Yeah,
guess.
the
But
kaiju
like,
genre. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you when a movie's bad, like 1.5 stars.
Okay, you gotta watch one movie that I don't know if I hate the movie because nothing happened. It's
Mhm.
called. Have you ever seen the movie Hereafter
No.
with Matt Damon?
Mm-mm.
Me and my wife sat down and watched it because like it looked like it was kind of like he gets like psychic powers and then it looks like this catastrophe's coming and maybe he could stop it. When I tell you, Mace, the way me and my wife both describe it, the movie never started, it didn't have a middle, and it never actually ended. Like nothing happened. We watched Matt Damon live his life for 2 hours, and that was it. Like it was.
Is that part of the genre though? Because there is like a subsection of entertainment where like the first one off the top of my head is like Waiting for Godot. It's like an old like English play where like the whole point is that literally like nothing happens.
I don't know. It was billed as like this blockbuster though.
Okay,
So, and I like
maybe I
Matt
need to watch
Damon, and I like Matt Damon. I think like he's a really talented actor, and he's been in a lot of things that I liked. And
it. Mhm.
we watched it excited because like the preview showed like this giant tsunami and him like being able to get these like getting ways to realize he has some psychic powers. And then we're watching him where it's like the movie ends and we're like,
Wait a minute.
when did anything start? What just
Yeah.
happened? So
I'll add it to my list.
that's my
I'll send
big
you my official review when I'm done with it.
Give me another review. Oh, also, there is a website called Criticlist. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
You can give your own reviews. you can write your own reviews. It's meant so that it's not critics' reviews, so
Yeah.
that it's people that love movies and movie
Yeah.
buffs.
That's kind of what
And
Letterboxd is, though. It's
and
like
critics can write in it too. Like anyone
Mhm.
can write in it. So you
Yeah.
could do both. Write in them both. Why not? Have some fun
Why
with
not?
it.
Yeah.
So what other movies would you either want to shit on or recommend? You can give us a little bit of both.
I've been my thing is that like I don't live in the present in terms of like entertainment, like movies, music. I'm always like a couple years late. I saw Baby Driver.
I actually never saw it. Was it good?
Hey, Baby Driver. You got to watch Baby Driver.
I heard it was good.
You have to watch Baby Driver. That one, like, let me see what I gave it. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4.5 stars because there was a moment. I'm very good at finding moments where I was like, I have to dock that. Like, I can't
But
let
four
it.
and a half stars is still pretty good for a movie.
4.5 for
That's
me.
very good.
4.5 for me is like that.
You're a tough
That's
critic.
like regular person 5. Let's see.
I mean, you're like me with like all of the current Marvel and Star Wars, where I'm giving them all like ones and
Mhm.
halves. Like they've been terrible since
Yeah.
Endgame. Marvel's been bad, and
They-
honestly, since God, got to go back a real long time since Star Wars has been good.
Yeah,
Ugh.
the Marvel thing for me is interesting because I did like a lot of them. I feel like there's too many different things you have to watch now to fully understand. Like, I don't want to have to sit down and watch 8 episodes of Scarlet Witch to understand the next movie. Like,
Yes.
I just want to dedicate 2 hours and I'm good. Like,
Did anybody know why we should fear Kang and who Kang was in the new Doctor Strange? Unless you watched Loki, where bizarrely Loki fell in love with himself from another timeline, which that's neither here nor there. That's a weird thing that they did with Loki.
doesn't he show up in like the new Ant-Man or like the most recent Ant-Man too?
Maybe, but he's gone now because the actor got into legal trouble, so they
Yeah.
fired him, and
Yeah,
now
so
they're moving on to something else. But it's like, that's my biggest criticism of that. And Star Wars did it too with the Mandalorian, and then the Book of Boba Fett, which was freaking terrible. But
I
it was like,
started it.
oh, and Obi-Wan was bad, Ahsoka was bad. Like they haven't been good in
Mhm.
so long. It's terrible. But it's like, unless you watch them, like you don't understand what goes on in the other show or the other movie, and it's like they've become too connected.
Yeah. And that's really my main complaint. Like before, when it was just like you have to watch a movie, like you watch Iron Man 1, you watch Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3 is going to make sense. Like,
Yep.
that's fine. But I don't like that you have to go outside of like the regular path for a movie to make sense, especially when it's like a main one, like Endgame or Infinity War.
You can even watch the Iron Man standalone though and still enjoy them as movies, right?
For sure.
It's not like if you have to watch Iron Man 1 to understand what's going on. It's like, okay, I could throw on Iron Man 3. I understand, okay, this guy in the golden red suit is the hero.
Mhm, for
That's
sure.
easy to understand. So it's same thing. It's very easy to digest. And Nate G coming in slow, Alex, you don't like lesbian space, which is no, not all the time. And it depends on where they are, Nate. Not in my Star Wars. I don't like them, Nate. Oh my God. There's so much criticism to go around with that. But
Yeah.
so what are some movies that you recommend? Because even if it's in the past, maybe people like, I didn't see Baby Driver, but then again, I don't watch anything anymore. I
Yeah.
podcast.
Are you a Tarantino fan?
Oh, I love Tarantino.
Okay, Reservoir Dogs, great movie.
Oh, Reservoir
Phenomenal.
Dogs is
Masterpiece.
so good. It really is. And people don't like Tarantino. And I get it because he is crude. He is very, but I like to think like Tarantino is more real than most movies, right? Because
sure.
human beings talk like the
Mhm.
way that actors like talk. Like I remember we had years ago where people were talking about like locker room language. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's just talking to your friends. Okay. It's like locker room language don't exist. In public, you talk different than the way you talk to your friends and stuff.
I feel like the pacing of Tarantino movies is what is the thing that I've noticed most that makes them like special is because like it feels real time in that like the conversations take as long as they should take, but
Yeah.
it still feels like you're going somewhere where it's not like, you know, like the Matt Damon movie you're talking about where it's just like a regular day in the life.
You're hurting me again. Think about it. So did you see that there's some criticism for the new Kill Bill remasters that like they barely made them look any better?
I have not seen any
Oh,
of
it hurts my heart too because I love the Kill Bills.
Mhm.
You're talking about some great freaking movies. The Kill Bills are so freaking good, and like people were waiting on these new releases to come out because they were supposed to clean them up and make them look even better. And it's like the shading is barely nicer, and it's like, oh, why are we making people spend money on that?
Well, they
Like,
tried. They
they
tried.
made money. They made money, right? People
Yeah.
pre-ordered and bought it, and okay. So What are your favorite movies of all time?
Okay. I'm gonna give you 4 in no particular order because the list is kind of wild. I gotta start with a classic, Finding Nemo.
I like it. That's a good one.
Finding Nemo is an absolute masterclass. I'm gonna say Reservoir Dogs, Menace to Society
Oh yes, man, Society
is a great.
yes.
I'm gonna throw Baby Driver in there.
Ooh.
I'm gonna throw Baby Driver in there. I feel weird about it because it's like my most recent ad.
But that's okay. Things can become your favorite. It's like that is
Yeah.
okay to include it in.
And then I want to sneak Rocky 4 in there. I know
Rocky IV is
there's
good.
there's
That's
some
good.
debate about Rocky 4. I think Rocky 4 is the best Rocky.
It's close. Rocky 4 and Rocky 1. Because Rocky 1, obviously, the start of it all is
Mhm.
good. And it's like
I've heard
just
3 too. I've heard 3.
3's good. Mr. T's good in it. And like the drama, right? Like
Yeah.
1 and 2 are kind of a continuation of each other. So you can kind
Yeah.
of put them both
I kind of make
together.
those like one movie in my
They
mind.
do. 3 has a lot of emotion. It has a lot of emotion because obviously you watch, Clubber Lang go through Apollo and hurt him. He, obviously kills the old man. Like a lot goes on. And then, the thing with the Rockies that made it so good, yes, it got campier, but the stakes raised in the ring. And that's what we watched
For
it
sure.
for because
Yeah.
the in-ring boxing was great. Like
Uh-huh.
it looked awesome. Like they did it such a good job. And to think that that was a script that most people passed on, the original one, and that Stallone did that out of his own pocket is insane.
Incredible.
Oh, Nate G has some stuff here. He says Tarantino makes great movies. Super weird dude, though.
For
I
sure.
feel like you got to
sure.
be weird sometimes to make some of that great shit. Like
Yeah.
Mace will probably tell you he thinks he's weird, and that's why he's able to make good music.
A little bit. Yeah. I'm not Tarantino weird.
You might be eventually. Yeah, listen, you
No,
spend enough
no,
time in LA, you may get there, man. You may
please
get there.
no. Yeah, somebody come get me if I ever start acting like that.
So, and then also coming in, not a single Austin Powers. Rocky being there saved him. Has he seen Demolition Man? Rocky isn't even the best Stallone. Hey, I will argue Over the Top is an amazing Stallone, even though it's actually a terrible movie. But it's like it's one of those.
My only other Stallone I've seen is First Blood.
Oh man, you're missing out. Watch Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Demolition
Look,
Man
I'm
is
leaving here with a list
so
today.
good.
This
Oh,
has been productive, if nothing else.
you will get some cultural stuff. Like I said, we are a smorgasbord show.
Hey,
You had
we're
David here.
learning today.
David's better at this stuff than I am.
Mhm.
So, and Austin Powers, that is pretty good one because Michael Myers is revolutionary. in
Yeah,
that
I've
role.
also never seen any like the full Austin Powers, so it's like
Oh my god,
I've seen
I
it in like 15-minute increments.
I
across
could
the years.
probably quote those movies verbatim. Like they are so good. Nate
Mhm.
saying Over the Top is 5 stars. Yeah, Over the Top is so. Over the Top is a movie about a truck driver that arm wrestles at truck stops.
Lit. Lit.
So I have my most favorite movie ever is one that's not thought of as much. American History X. Have you ever seen that one
Mm-mm.
with Edward Norton?
Mm-mm.
So quick synopsis. Edward Norton starts off, he's this white skinhead neo-Nazi, okay? And, there's a quick thing. They play basketball against a group of black guys. They beat them. They win the court. Black guy comes, tries to rob him. He kills the black guy, goes to jail. And then a whole thing comes out where he comes out completely different. And it is a absolute roller coaster of emotions where you will start off on one opinion, you'll flip your opinions and flip back over and over and over. When I tell you that is Edward Norton's, people love Fight Club. American History X to me is my favorite thing. It's so good. And, we always talk about, in this country, a lot, race relations is a big deal, right?
Mhm.
You want to talk about like a commentary on race relations? That movie, there's nothing better there. And that was done in the late 90s, early 2000s. So freaking
Definitely
good.
my list. I'm leaving here with a list today. I love it.
If you watch anything, watch American History X first. It is so freaking good. What's that? Another one I'm corny. I like Without Limits. I'm a runner. And Without Limits is about Steve Prefontaine, one of the best American distance runners. And I don't know if I have a third. Like, it's weird. Like, I like movies,
Mhm.
but I'm not the type. Like, part of me wants to say like one of the Dragon Ball Z movies I like, because I'm a big anime nerd. So
Mhm.
it's like I love Dragon Ball Z. So maybe one of the Dragon Ball Z movies is one of my, I don't know, but it's like I have those two that have been hanging out. Trying to think. What else? Maybe Varsity Blues. It's a football movie, comedy,
Mhm.
like high school one.
Is it better than Remember the Titans though?
Probably not content wise overall as like a production, but for
For
what it is, it's meant to be like a little bit more. It's like a high school semi
Mhm.
comedy flick with like a more seriousness to it. It's
Yeah.
about basically, it's like Texas football, and this kid, he's the backup quarterback, which is ready to go to college. The lead quarterback gets hurt, and now he has to step up and play. And
Mhm.
you go through like his dad trying to get him in there. He's trying to get to this. It becomes like it's a typical late 90s, early 2000s like
Yeah,
romp. But that might be my third favorite one. There's some pretty good lines and some fun shit that goes on in that movie.
for sure.
So yeah, no, that's always good. I love it. I love it. So you're a 2K head, right? You like
A little bit.
NBA 2K?
That's been our hobby as of late.
So my brother actually came in with this question, even though he's not here. Why aren't you playing Marvel Rivals instead?
I just I'm a 2K player. Like I like sports games.
Mhm.
I had a little like I used to go back and forth with the games a little bit, but like I don't know, man. There's something about basketball that just makes it.
We're playing
Yeah, I'm a big
basketball.
basketball guy. I had a FIFA phase. So I what I do
FIFA's
usually
good.
is I'm a year to year guy because they come out with a new game. So I'll like last year my game was FIFA. This year it's been 2K. Next year I'll probably pivot again.
I
Uh,
won't buy games in succession. That's smart because they don't change much year to
yeah,
year. Like maybe every 4 years you get the game, right? Because you're paying for roster updates essentially
yeah.
if you get it every year.
You're paying for roster updates and eventually they'll shut down the servers. But at that point, like whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Um,
who is your favorite basketball team?
the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, that's left field. So why Portland? When Portland? Was it is it Dame that got you hooked initially or
Yeah, kind of. Like I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so like we don't
Mhm.
have a team. Like Cleveland's 4 hours west, Philly's 4 hours east. Like you can go to a game, but it's like we hate both of those cities. It's like what's the point? You know what I mean?
And
Um,
you got football, hockey, baseball, college. So it's not like you
yeah,
need to have like
yeah. Like really, I'm a Pitt basketball fan, but in terms of NBA, Portland. Although I'm kind of a disgruntled Portland Trailblazers fan because we're not very good.
listen,
Uh,
you can't talk to me. I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan.
oh,
I
I'm
don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You guys had Dame and LaMarcus at the same time. Aldridge
yeah.
and Dame should have brought you further. And then Aldridge comes to us and he's a shell of his former self. I don't want to hear it. Okay. No
Yeah,
sports fans. I'm a Nets fan. I'm a Jets fan. I don't want to hear nothing.
y'all sold y'all soul for a washed Paul Pierce and a Kevin Garnett who forgot how to play basketball.
Here's the thing. I will see as much as that trade gets wrecked. If Darren Williams was Darren Williams, that's a good trade. Because Darren Williams stopped being himself. If he was able to, because here's the thing, Pierce and Garnett were never supposed to be the guy. It was supposed to be D. Will leading JJ and Brooke Lopez, and they were supposed to be the veterans to get them over the top in close games.
My question to that take is: are we assessing that now, knowing who those picks were, or are we just saying in terms of the picks?
In terms of what it was and the reason why they did it, it was
For sure.
Prokhorov giving
Okay.
pressure to do it. And it was also when they went in with that mindset, D well had his ankle injury, but the year before he was averaging 26 and 8 with a bad Nets team. Don't get me wrong, but he was still dunking. He was still doing his thing. Once D Will couldn't dunk, it was over. He's not a
Mhm.
jump shooter. That's not his thing. Once he had to become a jump shooter, it was done. And then we had to rely on Paul Pierce and KG to win games. And it's like, okay, never
Yeah,
what it was supposed to be. So I
I hear
will
you.
pseudo defend that trade. I know how
I
it
hear
went
you.
down, but I will. It all depended on D Will being D Will, and he just couldn't with his ankles.
Mhm.
So that's my bad defense of it.
No, the Nets are a fun team to watch because it always feels like something's going on over there. From an like outside of basketball. It have nothing to do with basketball. It's just like Ben Simmons for some reason can't get on the
I
court.
hate Ben
At,
Simmons.
at times Cam Thomas looks like he invented basketball, and then other times he doesn't know how to spell it. Like there's a lot of stuff going on over there.
So we'll actually be having in a few weeks, right after the trade line, Brandon Scoopy Robinson on the show, who's
Mhm.
the one that broke Cam Thomas when he said "ain't shit funny." That's
Yeah.
who he said it to was Scoop. Was Scoop. So like I know Cam got big for that. I mean, the Nets are a mess, man. And the fact that our GM survived three of the biggest superstars in the history of the NBA coming to the team and
then
losing all three. What GM survives that?
That was tough though, because the personalities in basketball make GMing interesting. Like you can't just make the best team.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
know
the
what I
thing
mean?
is,
Like
KD and Kai wanted to be together. And James was cool with coming there because Harden didn't want to be the guy at the time. He was happy being number 3 and just dishing it out. Go getting like 12, 10, and 8, and 10 triple doubles. Like he was cool with that role. And everyone just got hurt. And
yeah,
James Harden's looking around one day, and I remember watching this game. I watched it. Harden's on the floor with 4 rookies. Like 4 rookies. And he's looking around at one point like, the fuck am I still doing here? Where's my fat suit? I'm out of here. Like, wild, man. Then
Like-
they mistreated Kyrie. They were assholes to Kai. KD wanted to stay, and then they like it was
bad.
You're getting me ranting about the Nets. I
Big
can
Nets
rant about the
fans.
Nets all day.
Shout out the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh my God. Let's get to some comments real quick here. Make NFL 2K a thing again. NFL 2K was fantastic. They need to bring it back. It was so much better than Madden.
I go back
every which way.
NFL football games though. I don't know. I just feel like, and this is a me personal thing. I don't like playing those games because I played football and I missed too many plays in that I would have made in real life.
No, what sucks is I was a DB. You were a corner, right?
Hmm.
I was a safety. I hate taking over those because they don't move the hips. Like you cannot, like you try to do, like if you actually try to act like a real DB and break on a ball, it's like,
going to get fried.
There's a 10-second stutter step from a guy. And it's like, that ain't real. These guys are pros.
And it's the worst for me because safety, I played safety in high school. So safety is like the only position that I understand well enough to be able to like effectively use her. But then I can't athletically make the play that I'm trying to make. So I'm getting torched. I'm like, I saw it the whole way. I just couldn't get there. Like
the only way to do it, like, is to play like just like a deep zone. Just play like a cover 1 zone in that game. Like you just do cover 1, let the CPUs do everything and just cover center field. It's the only way to play safety in that game. It's miserable. Oh my God. All right. So Nate G coming in saying beats being a Jazz fan.
I like the Jazz though. I'm a big
they're scrappy.
I'm not a Jazz fan. I can't say that, but I support the Jazz because I like marketing. And I don't know. They're just a scrappy team. That's the best.
I wanted Brooklyn to explore a trade for Markkanen. I think Markkanen's fantastic. He's such a good player. He's the guy. He's a modern big through and through, and he does it really well. Like he's very good at that. Brandon Roy should have been a megastar. Yeah, if Brandon Roy didn't get hurt, he's one of those dudes. He's up there with Grant Hill and thinking about Penny Hardaway. He's up there with those guys thinking, what could they have been? Nate G, Williams was unlocked by Jerry Jones. He just hurt his ankles, okay? Or Jerry Sloan. Not Jerry Jones. Nate G saying Sloan was such a phenomenal coach. He made him the best point guard in the league.
I'll buy it.
Ben Simmons is about to win Rookie of the Year.
He's 30, Rookie of the Year. Eighth-year veteran, Rookie of the Year.
Ben Simmons, I will rant about that man for days. I never thought he should have been the first pick. If you couldn't lead LSU, which I know wasn't a great program at the time, you're supposed to be the best player in the country. You at least get into the tournament. He couldn't even get into the tournament. That's when I knew this guy doesn't have dog in him. He can't do it. And then he got bitched by Embiid over in Philly, and Embiid came in and basically Captain Phillips and was like, this is my ship now.
I'm blaming Philly for his jump shot. Philly broke his jump shot. They broke Fultz's jump shot.
Fultz.
I'm telling you, they're doing something to those jump shots in Philly. That's my conspiracy theory for the day.
But if I'm a coach, like I'm looking at Ben Simmons and I'm watching him and it's like, yes, he does good things on the floor. He's a very good defender, great defender. Could see the floor. He's as good of a passer as you're ever going to see in the NBA, right? The moment he passes up a jump shot, his ass is on the bench. Like I would bench him as a coach. I would sit there and be like, shoot it. I would make him, I would run a play calling contested 3. Because I will force him into situations where there's guys in his face and be like, shoot the fucking ball.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's just a confidence thing. Like,
yeah,
we can't help you with that. Like, bro, shoot the rock.
It's always funny when Nets Twitter makes fun of him for like practicing threes in like pregame. Like Nets Twitter is like, oh, there's Ben again. What is he doing?
Or the annual offseason highlight tape where he's like in an open gym run, all of a sudden shooting 40-foot threes. I'm like, you're never gonna shoot that in a game, brother.
Hey, I listen. I give it to him though. I wish I could be in good shape again. Like, you know what? If I had good shape, I'd make videos running around shirtless too all the time. Like, that's what I would be doing. Nate G also coming in for real. Nate also played safety. Even calling great coverage and getting burnt by something that should have been covered in real life is lame. Yeah.
Lame. I'm telling you, lame. I hate it.
And here's the thing. Every once in a while, you get mossed by somebody, right? Like JJ gets a big play over you or something like that. Okay, that's real. These
Mhm.
guys are dogs. But it happens every single play when you're trying to be my player. Like if
Uh-huh.
the ball's a throw up for JJ and your bum ass safety's anywhere near him, he's gonna catch it and take it to the house
Yeah.
and you're gonna fall.
It's gonna be
Like,
one-handed. You're gonna throw your controller.
yeah, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Nate G, that was Donovan Mitchell's rookie year. I'll never let it go. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on there. All right, so last thing I want to ask you, and this was another David question because David's an asshole.
My
How are
guy.
you surviving as a Pirates fan?
I'm not. I'm struggling. There's a lot going on. None of it seems to be positive. We did get a new hitting coach, so we'll see if that helps. I mean, like the bottom line is you get what you pay for in baseball. And quite
Yes.
frankly, we haven't been a team that wants to spend money. So, you
When was the
know,
last time you guys gave a big contract? Was the re-signing of McCutcheon like a decade
no,
ago?
we Cabrian Hayes, we just paid
Yes.
him.
Yes.
He's
Deservedly.
I think he's the first 100 million guy in our franchise. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong.
He's a very good player.
We also had Garrett Cole. We also had Garrett Cole in our locker room, and we
Thank
had
you. Thank you for that. I'm a Yankees fan. Thank you.
Glasgow that's in Tampa now.
Thank
We had him on our roster too. So it's like we paid him, but like that's the same 100 mil you had. So I don't know. Like I'm optimistic because I'm delusional. You know what I mean? Like I say every year that this is gonna be our year.
It's baseball, man. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
It really can.
they appear to be doing things differently now in terms of like taking risks. Like we moved O'Neal Cruz to center field mid-year last year, and that felt like it needed to be done for me. Like I was like, you know what? Like we're taking a shot here.
I mean, putting O'Neal Cruz in center field is good because he could just stand there and put his arms out and catch everything.
Honestly, yeah, he covers
he's
so much ground.
20 feet tall. He is so tall. Him
But-
standing next to Aaron Judge, like I'm a Yankees fan. And he made Aaron Judge look like friggin' whatchamacall? Who's that little dumbass on the Astros?
Altuve.
Altuve. He made Aaron Judge look like Jose Altuve. Like he's huge.
Yeah, no, O'Neal Cruz is definitely a scary baseball build.
Yeah.
Him and the dude in Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh my God, Ellie De La Cruz is another one.
I saw them. The Reds came to Pittsburgh to play, and I went to the game, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like these guys are athletes.
Like you expect to see that type of people in like football and basketball, like those massive
Like,
people.
how did you end up here? Like,
yeah. It's like, who didn't put a basketball in your hand or tell you to go play tight end? Like, who was wrong? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Nate G wants to know, have you heard what Mark Cuban said? I don't know what Mark Cuban said. Did Mark Cuban say some shit about Pittsburgh? Probably. Mark Cuban just talks his shit.
I think I feel like I recall. I've kind of tried to block all that out. I remember him saying something about it, but I don't remember what it was.
Is McCutcheon a first ballot Hall of Famer?
First ballot?
Mm-hmm.
The Pittsburgher in me and the Pirates fan in me wants to say yes. Probably not.
I'm going to put him in as a Hall of Famer. I think McCutcheon's a Hall of Famer.
I do believe he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
First ballot is tough.
Did you see that there was one writer that didn't vote for Ichiro and Ichiro didn't get unanimous because of one dumbass writer and their stupid rules?
Disgusting.
Ichiro Suzuki is not like, I get it. Mariano Rivera was the first one ever, which he shouldn't have been. There should have been other guys, but Mo getting it deserved. But Jeter wasn't unanimous. Ken Griffey Jr. wasn't unanimous.
Yeah.
And now Ichiro, like,
come on. What
they should have their voting revoked.
Yeah, Ichiro batted like 500 over his career. Like, what are we talking about?
He was even good at the Yankees when he was like 90. He was still good then. Like, the guy just great at baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. Nate G coming in saying Mark Cuban wanted to buy the Pirates. He said they refused to sell because of profits they are making.
That's why I didn't remember, because I didn't want to.
Because of profits they are making.
But I'm telling you, like, we spend more every year on fireworks than we do on our roster.
So here's my thing, though, and here's what drives me crazy. You've been a Pirates fan for your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be the Oakland A's. stop going. If you want them to fix something, it's like,
But
where are the
ballpark
reasons
is
why
so
owners
beautiful.
don't fix shit, right? Like,
People don't really go though. Like, not really. Like, you can get really good tickets at PNC Park for like $30.
I mean, that's almost baseball in a lot of ways, right? Like mid season,
Mhm.
there's such a lull. You can get
Yeah,
good tickets to any game, right? Yankees too, and stuff like Mets. Like
for sure.
you can get good tickets like that mid season. Like I've always presented that they should take the series, like because they always play like 2, 3, 4 game series, and they should aggregate score every series, and you should also have a series win loss because then
Yeah.
that would make those middle ones matter.
Mhm.
And your series win loss could be like a tiebreaker. It won't add up to
For sure.
much, but it's like a playoff tiebreaker. And I feel like that would
It's
make
so
like
expensive.
well, because so many teams just throw away those games, right? Like they
Mhm.
don't care. Like the midseason, long season, let's just throw in,
Rest
Mace, you're a
people.
fan. Go pitch for us this week. Like, you know what? Like, go pitch this game. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like, I feel like if they did like aggregate scoring for each series and each series counted,
Mhm.
more fans would want to go to the games because they all matter. Every game would matter. So
Yeah.
that's just me and my crazy ideas. But overall, Mace, I want to thank you for coming on, man. This was
Nah,
lots of fun.
yeah, thanks for having me. I definitely had fun. I'm leaving with a list of things that I need to tap into, so I'm all
We're
good.
giving you homework.
Yeah.
So one day we have to bring you and Meek on together. We
Mhm.
gotta get you both coming on together, and maybe David will be around, and we could just have some fun, shoot the shit,
For
let you
sure.
guys go. I'll make fun of Meek, and he'll make fun of me back, and it'll be a good time. But
Yeah.
once again, he is Mace. He is a rapper. He is a producer based out of somewhere in the United States. He might be in your city. He might be in your town at some point, hanging out in your studio. But if you are an artist, specifically rapper, hip hop, whatever, and you want a great beat made up, hit up Mace. You can find him over on basically all social media, but specifically here, you'll find him on X at Mace Tomlin, Instagram, the same thing at Mace Tomlin. Instagram is your very specific way, right? Get in touch with you. That's probably the
Usually.
best way to do it.
Mhm. It might be a couple days because my DMs are a war zone sometimes, but I'll see it eventually.
But definitely hit up Mace if you want some of his beats, and also go on Spotify right now, go on YouTube right now, and subscribe over on YouTube to his page. You're gonna be having a new music video come out. You're gonna be working on one soon, right? You told me.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm going back to Pittsburgh in 2 days to shoot another one. So
There you go. So we should have a music video out in the near future. New music coming out. So 100% go support Mace, whether Mace likes it or not. His song is now officially in the pre-roll, and it's going to
oh,
be on occasion. Every he'll be in the rotation of pre-roll songs. I have Meeks in there. I have my boy Hack No Cap. So definitely want to keep that going. But once again, we appreciate everyone for watching, wherever you're watching from, X, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, a Kick, wherever you are. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Repost, spread this word of mouth. If you're listening via podcast, Spotify, iTunes, whatever, give us a good review, and leave us a comment there. And we appreciate everyone at all times. Nate's saying he'll be subbing his Spotify. There you go. You got yourself a new
I
fan.
appreciate you.
So once again, thank you so much. We'll be back next week with another show, and I'll be back at some point this week just shooting the shit because that's what I do. Everyone, thank you so much. So long, y'all.